He has, some big time receivers. I think he has to win at least 9 games this season to keep his job.
There were some games they were in last year that they should have won, and they didn't because of their defense. Defense put them in terrible situations.
And if he doesn't deliver any, more than I think 8 wins, I think that's what they ended up with last year. He doesn't get more than 8 wins or make some noise, I think they're going to look to move on from there.
Hey, welcome to the UnbiasedRoom. I know it's been a while, but we are back here to talk college football. So we're here to talk week 1 matchups. Who do we think is going to come out on top of these games? Because week 1 has a lot of tremendous games lined up. So, Ron, what you got?
Hey, so I got Miami versus Notre Dame. The last time they played was in 2017. Miami won 41-8, and the Irish had won 4 out of the last 5. This game is going to be played on that Sunday, right? So it's not going to be on Saturday with everybody else, but it's going to be on Sunday. So they're going to have all eyes on them. Miami is in a proven year under Mario Cristobal. It's his 4th year as the head coach. And right now he has a 22-16 record. He had the number 1 pick in Cam Ward, but the defense hurt them last year. He went to no bowls in his first year, and then he went to the Pinstripe Bowl and the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Carson Beck comes to him from Georgia. The question is, will he be up and down like he was with Georgia last year, or will he play like the projected number 1 pick that he was entering into last season? And will the defense improve under new defensive coordinator Corey Heatherman? They were 27th in yards allowed, which they gave up 327 yards per game, but their scoring defense was 68th. And then with Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame took off like a rocket ship in his 3rd season, but will he keep that momentum going? He lost his quarterback in Riley Leonard, but he still has the preseason All-American and running back Jeremiah Love, and he has a top offensive line unit in Notre Dame. They're returning 7 starters on D. So which program makes the leap in this first game of the season? And to me, this is a close one to call. I don't really know who's going to win this, but whoever wins it, it's a big advantage for them, especially when we start getting further down in the season, looking at the college football playoff. Because this game, I'm sure both of these teams, have playoff aspirations, and they probably will make the playoffs. So it just all depends on how they look during this game.
Okay. So I think that Notre Dame has more to lose. And I'm going to say that because they're not in a conference, right? So they can't compete for a conference championship. If Miami takes the L, they can still go on and win the ACC, and they're going to be just fine. So I think Notre Dame being independent hurts them in this case. And when they have big non-conference games, it hurts them if they lose. But if they win, it helps them. But like Ron said, man, this game is way too close to call. Notre Dame looked good last year. They returned a lot, like you said. I don't know. I don't have a pick right now.
Yeah, I don't either. But one thing I will say, too, just to kind of piggyback on what you said, AB, Notre Dame does play Texas A&M the second game of the season. So that's another big contest for them if they were to lose to Miami. Because Texas A&M right now could possibly be ranked in the top 25 as well, too.
Man, you know who I got. Miami, I'm riding with them. Last year, our defense, even though statistically wise, it doesn't sound terrible, but when you watch them live, you never could count on them to make a stop. They needed 1 stop against Syracuse last year to win the game, right? And they couldn't get a stop. I think the defense is going to improve. It's going to be improved from last year. And a lot of it, I don't think it's talent. I just think it was bad defensive scheme, honestly. And both programs, new quarterback, Carson Beck is the one more experienced QB, but is he going to be ready to go week 1 from his injury? Or is he going to be feeling 100%? But I'm rolling with my Canes on this one, man. Got to take them. I don't think Notre Dame is going to like you said, Notre Dame has more to lose, more pressure on them than Miami. So Miami, this season, they can get past Notre Dame, Florida, and win out, man. They will be considered to be back. Right now, I don't consider them back as we talk about championship years. But if they win, they start off with Indy and beat them. It's a good step towards that.
I mean, this is the Unbiased Room, and you kind of went with your feelings of being, going with the youth. But yeah, we're supposed to be talking facts here, but that's okay. We're going to let this one slide.
And I'll write this down. Miami, a 7 minimum. Early pick.
Early pick. All right. So for me, I went with LSU traveling up to Death Valley to play Clemson. Right, that game will be kicking off at August the 30th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. This year, man, I think Clemson has a chance to be really special. I think they have the best returning quarterback in college football. They have a legit group of wide receivers, right, to contribute, and they have multiple draft picks on defense. Now, Dabo, he's been a guy that really hasn't used the portal too much. He did bring in a few portal transfers this year, so we'll see how that pans out. But I see Ron made a face when I said the best returning quarterback in college football. If you look at the numbers, he's up there, right? He's at the top of that list. But it doesn't take away from the fact that LSU also has one of the top returning quarterbacks in the game, who actually, I think if he would have went to the draft last year, he probably would have been a top 3 quarterback taken in the draft last year. But he decided to come back and, I guess, prove himself, right? They have a good group of backs. They have a good offensive line. They added some pieces out the portal to the wide receiver room and on defense. But that's going to be the question is LSU's defense, right? So they're going into year 2 with their DC and Blake Baker. And they could not tackle last year, right? And the numbers show that. They were 84th defensively on third down. They were 76th in passing yards allowed. They were 51st in run defense. But when you're talking about a top program in college football, right, those numbers I just mentioned, those are NCAA. When I looked at the SEC numbers, just in the SEC, they're around 11th to 13th in those categories, right, which is bottom half of the SEC. And when you're getting the caliber of athlete that you're getting at LSU, they have to be better on defense. There were some games they were in last year that they should have won, and they didn't because of their defense. Defense put them in terrible situations. So we'll see if they can have a bounce back year and, hopefully go up to the other Death Valley and get a win. But like I said, Dabo and that team are not going to make it easy. And I don't know who I'm picking just because it's too early. The teams are both good. I think too early to pick.
It's going to be a great game, man. Nussmeier coming back, and LSU has had the last 3 years, they're 0-3 in their season openers, but they played some hell of a games on their season openers too, right? So it's going to be a good game. I think Kelly, I think he gets his first primetime win. It's early to call. I know what y'all saying, right? But the pressure on Brian Kelly to deliver is immense, man. LSU has had the talent year in, year out, and just has not delivered. He has to come in with the best game plan he's put in on his, he has put together in years. And like you said, Clemson, man, it's tough. It's a tough call, but I think I'm going to roll with LSU on this one. It's way too early to call, right? Because I could change my mind next week. You know what I'm saying? Something happens, some injury, something. I mean, it's going to be a hell of a game to watch to kick off. I'm excited for week 1 of college football, and this is just one of the many games that is going to be great to watch.
Yeah, it kind of hit the nail on the head. That's what I was saying, man. This is a win for college football. I mean, a game like this, man, at nighttime setting, LSU, who could say they got the Death Valley, Clemson say they got a Death Valley, right? And to go there, right, with both teams very highly regarded and, coming into this season, I just think, man, it's going to be a great matchup. Again, it's too early to call for me as well. But you got 2 great returning quarterbacks, which is going to make it matchup even better. You got 2 great coaches. It's going to make the matchup even better, man. I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, I agree. So some things of note, right? LSU is 3-1 versus Clemson all time. And their last win came in a national championship game with Joe Burrow. We'll see if Clemson gets some get back.
The game that I'm highlighting for week 1 is the rematch of the Cotton Bowl from last year, man. So, Ohio State, they ran off with it at the end against Texas, right? So this year is a week 1 rematch. So Texas got their starting quarterback in Archie Manning, and then Ohio State is the quarterback battles between Julian Sayin and Devin Keyholes. I think I'm saying it right. And then new offensive coordinator Brian Hartline coming in for OSU. So it's going to be, even though it's Archie Manning's first real season as a starter, I think he has a little bit more, experience in playing than the other two guys might have. It's going to be a big one, too. It's going to be Lee Corso's last pick. He's going to be there for that one, So it's going to be the end of an era. We've been watching college football as long as we have, man. Lee Corso's been part of every Saturday morning. But nah, man, that's going to be a great game for both of these teams. Whoever walks away with this W, man, it's going to set them up very well for the rest of the season.
I think it's going to be a great game as well. Like I said, man, again, these week 1 matchups are going to be very, very good. I guess my biggest thing, and, I know we'll get to it, later on down the line, but is can Arch Manning in his first start go into Ohio State and win, right? Because Ohio State is talented. They're the defending champs. I know a lot of that team is left. Like I said, they got a new starting quarterback. They're going to have a new starting quarterback with Julian Sayin or Devin Fuentes. I think that's who it is. That's my only question for Texas right now. But Texas has talent. They got Steve Sarkisian, who's a master offensive play caller, and he may have them ready. For right now, I don't have a pick, but I just think it's going to be a great game, especially to start the season.
Yeah, I agree. That game it was voted number 1 non-conference game for next season, right? Non-conference matchup. I don't have a pick. We're going to the Horseshoe. Don't know what can happen, right? Like you said, this is Arch Manning's first time starting, and it's going to be in a major, well, not his first time starting, but first time starting in a major atmosphere. He has 2 starts under his belt when Quinn was hurt. But Sark is a mastermind, and I know he's going to have some things drawn up, and we will be prepared. Not saying we're going to win a game, but they will be prepared.
And one thing to kind of go back, what you just kind of said, AB, Ohio State did lose both of their coordinators, right? I can't think of his name. Chip Kelly. Sorry about that. Ohio State is coming in with 2 new coordinators. Offensive coordinator Chip Kelly went to the Raiders, and Jim Knowles went to Penn State. So, like I said, it's going to be a different team altogether. I know you said they promoted Brian Hartline from wide receiver coach to the offensive coordinator position. So, that is kind of advantage for Texas, for them to be coming in with 2 new coordinators, whereas Texas still has all their pieces, right? So this is going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, man. It's going to be a good rematch from last year. All right. So for my coach on the hot seat, and a lot of people may disagree or agree on this one, it's Billy Napier, right? So he's going into his 4th season at Florida. And overall, he's 19-19, 500. He had 4 solid wins towards the stretch of last year that kind of calmed the noise down for him a little bit. But Florida has probably one of the toughest schedules in college football next year. And if he doesn't deliver any, more than I think 8 wins, I think that's what they ended up with last year. It doesn't get more than 8 wins and make some noise, I think they're going to look to move on from him. He has Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State, Miami. So it's a hell of a schedule. Way's first full year, I think he's going to be the starter probably, and he's a superstar, right? He's their guy. But to see how, I don't think if they don't come out the SEC making some noise, I think that might be time for him to go, because he's, like I said, it'll be the end of his 4th year. And a lot of, good recruiting classes, a lot of hype, and nothing to deliver.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that he bought himself some grace because, one, you look at the talent he had with DJ Lagway. The running back name is escaping me right now, but the running back came in as a freshman. He was having a good year. So you start to look at all that talent that Florida had, and it was showing promise, in the last few games, I think that saved him. But if they come out flat this year, I agree with you, Ed. I do think that they'll probably look to move on from him. And see, because it's just so much talent in Florida is when you talk about a blue blood school, I think Florida should be mentioned in that. And he's going to have to win games, right? They can't continue to settle. No matter how hard the schedule is, they can't settle for 6 and 7 records. So I really think that's he's really got to win some games this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think that DJ Lagway saved his job. If he didn't have DJ Lagway, he would have been gone last year. But I think that, the powers that be seen it, okay, listen, this guy's going to be something special. Let's give him another year and see what he can do with Lagway, right? And all the talent that they have around him. But like y'all were saying, man, that schedule is just brutal. He got dealt a bad hand when it came to that schedule, man. That is, that's rough. It's rough. And all those games are like in the same time period. It's not like where, some teams will, okay, they got a rough November or they got a rough October. Nah, their schedule's rough all around.
Oh, yeah. It starts from week 2, I think. Oh, man.
Ron, who you got on the hot seat?
All right, so I got Hugh Freeze. So Hugh Freeze is 11-14, and he's entering his 3rd season. Okay, he made the Music City Bowl in his 1st season. He didn't make a bowl last year. Right now, his recruiting class is ranked 72nd, right, with only 9 players committed. And that's according to On3. When you look at some of these other classes like USC, Alabama, Georgia, and I can go on and on, these classes have up to 15 to 20 commits already for the year, for 2026. He doesn't have that. He brought in Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma. He has, some big time receivers. I think he has to win at least 9 games this season to keep his job, because I don't think Auburn fans are going to settle for mediocrity, right? I don't think they're going to continue to settle for 5 wins, 6 wins. They feel that they're good enough to compete with everybody in the SEC, and Hugh Freeze is going to have to step his game up this year to be able to keep his job.